I'm sure that a lot of you were probably wondering how long it was going to take me to get to this point, and I guess I can say that because of just straight up fatigue of playing this game, I wanted to take things easier for a while, but I know that I really need to get this taken care of and show what happens in the continuation of Pandemonium, because there is some family issues that are going on that need to be resolved, among other things, and we need to do whatever we can in order to help turn things around for Ericthonios and, of all people, La Habrea. So, we are back here in Emporia, where we had to turn the lights on a little because it is always so dark in this place. And now that we are back here long last, we can reunite with Claudia in here and see exactly how much further this journey is going to take us into Pandemonium. So, with that in mind, greetings people of the world, Matthias Griffin back with you for the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. So, let's go ahead and turn the lights back off, because Claudia, and I know, has been waiting patiently for a few weeks, and it's high time we gave him the time of day. So let's go ahead and speak with him for a rather creepy start to the next phase of Pandemonium with this disturbing red eye. Like, flip it on its side, you could probably have the intro to Breath of Fire 2, as we take on the quest entitled An Unwelcome Visitor. Claudian's eyes are brimming with the excitement of discovery. Hello there, Claudian. Rika, I've made a breakthrough. After uncountable days and nights, I've finally hearkened to the Crystal Soul's whispers, and I must say that your assistants are coming into here.
Professor Claudian, where are your manners? While I understand all too well your enthusiasm, I must remind you that even the most academically inclined prefer a composed recounting of events.
Oh, yes, of course. My apologies, Rika. Being consumed by my research for so long, I am afraid I've quite forgotten how to engage in civilized conversation. So as the music stops... In that case, perhaps we should start from the beginning, with a crystal set adrift upon the ethereal tides, containing the memories of a party yet unknown. They cried out for deliverance from Pandemonium, where the ancients kept the volatile creations under lock and key. You yourself witnessed the power devouring the facility from within, and the advent of a divine monstrosity wrought of mythic beast and powerful mage. Fortunately, your martial prowess and the combined magical talents of your companions, Themis and Ericthonios, was sufficient to restore order to the circles of Asphodelos, but the greater threat remains. In the depths of Pandemonium, a presence yet stirs, its intentions and identity shrouded in mystery. That is the issue at hand, is it not? It certainly is. Since you returned to us, we worked tirelessly to discern the nature of the crystal. In the process, I detected an anomalous etheric signature, which I believe arose from the crystal's memory stored within. Analysis of this pattern suggested a feeling of loss or yearning, specifically the yearning to be made whole, and indeed, ambient readings have revealed a faint but identical signature. This can only mean that another such crystal exists in our time. Is that so? So, my friend, I must depart to search for it forthwith. By tracing the matching etheric signature to its source, I believe it will be a simple matter to find our crystal's twin.
Professor, will this expedition be carried out only by us, or will Rika grace us with her protection?
No? I'm afraid she has more pressing matters to attend to, my dear Rusinode, namely to seek out the secrets which lie nestled within Pandemonium, where all this began. From all that we have heard, it appears that time traversal from the Crystal Tower is not fluid. That is to say, one can but travel in predetermined intervals. It would be prudent to check in on occasion in case there are any unanticipated changes. And so... As for you, my loyal assistants, I would ask you to remain here and continue cataloguing the ancient creations. And they're like, ah man, we might have come along too.
You can't mean... Do you intend to search for the crystal on your own?
Why yes, that would be the most efficient use of resources, would it not? In fact, I've already commissioned a ship and pilot for that very purpose. I trust you will take good care of the laboratory in my absence. And with that, doesn't even give us a goodbye, he just heads straight on off. I apologize for that somewhat abrupt departure. When progress is in sight, Professor Claudian tends to become blind to all else.
Indeed, and he has been worse than usual. While I cannot fault him for his excitement, I do wish he would spare a thought for those around him. For reasons unknown, the crystal seems loath to be overheard. Much as it spoke to you only to you last time, none but the professor has been able to capture its ethereal yearning, which has served only to convince him that he can solve this puzzle on his own.
So what are you gonna do about it?
Surely after some time alone he'll come to remember how valuable we are. The search for this crystal seemed to be a simple enough matter. Let him have his adventure, and upon his return I'll certainly be back to his usual self.
What is his usual self, though?
As for you, Rika, it may be best to return to Pandemonium as Professor Claudian suggested. Speaking of which, I did have a request of my own to make. Traveling to Pandemonium requires you to pass through Elpis, correct? There is something I would have you investigate in my stead. While those creations confined within Pandemonium are considered to be failures, I doubt that's their whole story. Barring exceptional cases, they must have been under observation in Elpis before being consigned to their shackles. And if we know anything about the Ancients, it's that they would have kept thorough records of the results.
That's very observant.
Ah, brilliant. Delving into these records may shed light on creatures Rika has yet to encounter, if your theory proves correct, that is. While there are no guarantees, it certainly beats the current strategy of rushing forward blindly with only her strength to carry the day. For your own sake as well as ours, please unearth what information you can.
Alright then. And they thank me for making this journey to do so. And so off they go to their respective responsibilities. And we, in the meanwhile, will head off to Elpis, and specifically to Perpetua Crystalline, so let's be on our way. So as I'm approaching, I realized it would have been faster to warp to Point Oikos. But we did do that, and now we have returned here, and look who we found. It's Themis, speaking with this archivist here. You seek records of Pandemonium. Of Pandemonium's creations. Master Themis has just finished perusing the very same. I should not be surprised that both arrived at the same conclusion. Luckily, I have saved you the trouble and gleaned what information I could. And what did you learn? Ah, so you know each other. I was dreading to having to once again scour the archives, but perhaps instead I'll rest for a spell. If there's nothing else, I shall take my leave. Okay then. And away he goes. As for I have undone the warding sigil blocking the entrance to Abyssos. I merely came here to chase an idle suspicion while awaiting your return. Fortunately, while Pandemonium's protective walls continue to be assailed by our unknown foe, there have been no fluctuations so great as to make me doubt Ericthonius' capacity to keep watch over us Photolos while I'm away. He works diligently to master internment, that he might deliver the creations back to their cages for his own hand. I thought it best to give him time to hone his craft. Okay. And since fate has brought us both here, I would ask you to accompany me while I attend to another matter. More idle suspicions that I would like to chase down. Rest assured it shall not take long. I simply have a few questions to ask an acquaintance of mine. Come, he has agreed to meet us near the news to Pandemonium. Alright, and so to get there, we gotta go all the way back over there. So, give me a moment to make the transition over there. As we're getting here to the tower, I also noticed on the way over that for some reason the quest objective for the duty had blurred into my minimap's coordinates. I don't know why that happens, because I haven't fiddled with that sort of thing ever for Rika, so I don't know why that looked the way it did, but I've fixed it because it just looks strange. Alright, we've reunited with Themis, so let's hear what he has to say. What did you find?
As I pondered our expedition into Pandemonium, I could not help but be mystified by how strongly the warders we encountered felt for La Habrea, whether it be for good or ill.
Yeah.
Hesperos and Erichthonios were two sides of the same coin. The former looked to his mentor with absolute devotion, while the latter looked to his father with bold hatred.
I can understand why.
I would not expect a familiar such as you to understand this, but such extreme emotions towards a single individual are quite rare indeed. Naturally, I feel gratitude towards my mother and father, yet we are all equals in the larger picture of the star. The view is not unique to myself, it is more or less accepted as the way of things. By contrast, the researchers of Pandemonium seem to view La Habrea with a feeling approaching obsession. Whether driven by love or hate, they have all been drawn to him. There were many other aspects of the facility's particulars I found troubling besides. I decided the best course of action would be to go straight to the source, and pose my questions to a member of the Words of La Habrea.
Was that a good idea? Because it seems we're about to get an answer. Hello there, and who might you be?
My apologies to have kept you waiting, Master Themis. I understand you are conducting an investigation of Pandemonium and wish to know of its origins.
Indeed we do.
Indeed. In particular, I wish to know exactly why Pandemonium was built directly under Elpis.
And like, why would we want to know that?
The facility is overseen by the Words of La Habrea, after all. Why keep it so close to Elpis, whose governing body has no say in its day-to-day operations? At first, I thought it to be simply a matter of convenience. Those creations which were deemed failures by the researchers of Elpis could be easily ushered into their new homes. Imagine my surprise when a trip in the archives revealed that many of the creations were sent from organizations beyond Elpis, including from the Words of La Habrea themselves. Given this, albeit limited, information, I cannot help but feel that the Academia Annida would have been a more fitting locale. What does Elpis have that cannot be found there?
These are fitting questions, and ones we have asked ourselves many times in recent years. Alas, the nature of Pandemonium's construction does not lend itself to relocation. When first it was built, circumstances weren't as they are now. As you surmised, the majority of the creations kept within Pandemonium were sent from Elpis. Yet, as the years passed, interests changed. Failures and creations deemed too flawed even to submit to Elpis paradoxically drew the attention of Pandemonium's researchers. So, where does that put us?
That is quite the change, and in fact it almost turns counter to the facility's original purpose. Who is it that decides which creations will be the subject of research?
Master La Habrea. Such authority is reserved for the chief keyword, and he has taken it upon himself to step into that role. As the music stops.
So if Pandemonium's resources were being misused, it would be under La Habrea's authority, correct?
And look at our shock. And look at him being pissed. I know not what you are suggesting, but the keywords also hold some sway within the facility. Not even Master La Habrea would be free from their scrutiny. They are duty-bound to report any irregularities as soon as possible. Although, I admit as of late, their communication has been somewhat sporadic. We but recently received a report from one of the keywords stating that all is well within Pandemonium's halls, when clearly it isn't.
Really? And you are certain that a keyword sent it?
Yes, of course. All communications suffered a temporary obstruction, but I can assure you that the words did their due diligence in confirming the identity of the sender. And who was it? And why don't we believe you?
Thank you. This information will be helpful to my investigation. That will be all for my prying.
Although I doubt it. Then I shall take my leave. While you are yet permitted to conduct your investigation freely, I must remind you that the warder's work is delicate and it will be remiss to disturb them for longer than is necessary. That's the La Habrea we know. All is well. A blatant lie, and we can both attest. One of the remaining keywords is most certainly in league with the party behind this. Let us hurry. I know not why our adversary sent that report, but it is plain that we must return to Pandemonium with haste. Agreed. As Themis begins to be on his way, let's go ahead and join him there. So as the sun rises on this day in Elpis, it's about to get really dark around here. I cannot guess as to why this false support has arisen now, but it certainly bodes ill, as does the knowledge that our mysterious mastermind has at least one more keyword to puppet. Regardless, they have tipped their hand, and we would be remiss to leave Ericthonius at the mercy of their machinations. Let us hope no harm has befallen him. Let's hope you're right. Time for a trip back to Hell. And see what lurks within. So upon our return to Pandemonium, there's Ericthonius doing his thing. As he is showing off his skills. Yeah, you can do it, man. Well, I'm thinking that was not... Yeah, I don't think that's what he was quite looking for. I've traced these sigils countless times, yet still I lack the strength to maintain the spell. Maybe you should work out? And now time works against me. I can no longer be victim to my own ineptitude. What? Who goes there? Ah, there's that creepy eye we saw.
There is something to be admired in such single-minded efforts, even if your methods leave much to be desired.
Damn, that's creepy.
You allowed this familiar to catch you unawares. Have you set your sights so high as to forget you walk upon the earth?
Damn. Throwing shade. That's quite big talk for what looks like just an eyeball. I know this creature. I'm familiar with the Phoenix, but that monster has looked away.
That it is, in spite of the trouble I went to in freeing it, I might add. Begrudge me for addressing you in this ill-fitting form if you must, but with control of Asphodylus wrested from my grasp, 'tis simply the best I can offer you.
Hide if you will, but mark my words, I will find you, and make you pay for the chaos you've sown. I will find you, and I will kill you.
Now, there is no need for such hostility. A calm heart stays the course. The wisdom of La Habrea, your father.
So you know about this, huh? Probably you're an all-seeing eye or something? Illuminati-oriented, or whatever? And how would you know what wisdom he speaks? He's pissed now. I have heard those words many times. The scolding of a tutor whose students struggle to grasp the most rudimentary lessons, seething with disgust. No! What? I've not told that to anyone, not even keyword Hesperos. That can only mean one thing. And what's that? That you still insist on mocking me! Stop this farce, La Habrea! Damn.
At last, you move to keep up. Pity that you remain behind nevertheless.
Uh-oh. What's going on here? Uh-oh. What?!
As you ever are. Always you fail to learn, fail to understand, fail to act.
Which is why he's now in this thing's grasp.
And though fate deigned to offer an escape, you remain here. You are bereft of magical powers and common sense both. But you need not despair. Dull though you may be, you are yet indispensable to Pandemonium's great experiments.
There's the affection I remember. Tell me, did I ever once measure up to your expectations? Wait, you actually know who this is?
You shall. Take pride in that, and rejoice to see your wish fulfilled.
What wish? What? What wish?
Come and all shall be revealed. All this rage, this hatred is but a consequence of ignorance. Our desires align more than you know.
Are you? I think we're about to find out. At least he was let go.
Uninvited guests join our reunion. It seems fortune no longer favors you.
And just as we arrive on the scene, okay, we actually saved him. Themis broke his shackles. And I'm not armed. Or armored, rather. Do you think I have any interest in listening to your prattle, let alone bowing to your will? I am no longer a charter. My faith lies with those who have earned it. Yeah, sorry that I'm not armored properly.
So these are the heroes who brought Hesperos low, even as power divine flowed through his veins. 'Tis plain that there are worthier subjects to contend with.
Including me. And away it goes. And that's where else. Yeah, I'll put this away. Because, yeah, there are quite a few Hydra who are wielding their own. But at least we saved the guy. Or more specifically, Themis did. Yeah, let's go ahead and speak with Ericthonios to complete the quest. Thank you. If you had shown up even a moment later, I shudder to think what would have become of me. There's something I must tell you. I know who's behind this. There's but one person who can hold thrall over familiar, creation, and keyword alike. Well, we'll find out about that after we take our 1,000 gil.